How did Donald Trump's 100th day in office treat you? Are you tired of winning yet? Now, here's the thing. I could spend yet, another hour just reading off all the ways that Trump's is screwing up the, from his Liberation Day tariffs that have cratered the economy to his wanton disregard for the rule of law. There's a lot to do, but I think that I have done that sufficiently, and plenty of others have too as well. So what I'd like to do for you right now, something a little bit different. I want to hand the Democrats a report card for how they have handled these first 100 days. Who in the party is meeting the moment right now? Who is effectively fighting for the soul of this country and who's not? So let's start with two Democrats who are, I think, killing it right now. Two Democrats who are electrifying the base and drawing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans to their rallies. You guys know who I'm talking about, right?
Idaho, I am so touched being here. I'm a girl from the Bronx. To be welcomed here in this state, all of us together, seeing our common cause, this is what this country is all about. Don't let them trick us into thinking we are enemies. Don't let them trick us into thinking we can be separated into rural and urban, black and white and Latino. We are one.
Alexandria, they told us this was a conservative state. They got it wrong.
And Idaho, I know that looking around here, it can feel impossible for Republicans out here to be defeated. That's not true. It's simply not true. And from the waitress who is now speaking to you today from this podium, I can tell you, impossible is nothing.
And as Alexandria just said, when we stand together, when we do not allow them to divide us up, there is no stopping us.
Miracles start with mustard seeds, and that is what each and every one of you represent today. Small miracles of faith in ourselves, in each other, and in the refusal to give up.
I have been very open with all of you about how I didn't always adore AOC. Well, her policies, right? I didn't used to think that she was my cup of tea, but no one in the party is doing more to wake Americans up right now than AOC and Bernie Sanders. They're the best in the business right now, period. It's end of sentence, right? Especially drawing crowds and getting people interested. Who knows what's next for AOC? Does she become the ranking member of the Oversight Committee? Does she challenge Chuck Schumer for his Senate seat? I don't know. Does she maybe run for president? Maybe in 2028? A little early, but who knows? I don't know. But her future is bright. And speaking of people with bright futures ahead of them, now let's move on to the next Democrat who has used these first 100 days to kick ass and to make history.
I'm getting close to a record, folks, but there's a room here in the Senate named after Strom Thurmond. To hate him was wrong. And maybe my ego got too caught up that if I stood here, maybe, just maybe I could break this record of the man who tried to stop the rights upon which I stand. I'm not here, though, because of his speech. I'm here despite his speech. I'm here because as powerful as he was, the people were more powerful. But I remind you, all those people who believe like me that we've got to redeem the dream, turn again to John Lewis, because you all know the story, my colleagues, of when the man that beat him savagely, drew blood, cracked bones. Decades later, he was a congressman. That man brought his grandson with him to ask for forgiveness from John Lewis. I heard about this story when I was in the car in Georgia with him. What did you do, John? This man that so viciously beat you, wounded you, bruised you, battered you. What did you do when he came to ask you for forgiveness? What did you do? And a good Christian man of faith, simply said, every one of us needs mercy. Every one of us needs redemption. I forgave him. I hugged him, we wept, and I looked at the boy. This nation needs you too.
You all remember that, right? That's Cory Booker officially establishing himself as a legend, setting a new record for the Senate's longest speech when he held the floor for more than 25 hours and surpassed Strom Thurmond's 1957 filibuster against civil rights. Now, at various points, hundreds of thousands of viewers were watching Booker on social media platforms, suggesting that he finally managed to harness some of the frustration Democrats have felt in the wake of Trump's chaotic second term. Now, Booker became a champion for the party, putting his physical body on the line to demonstrate his determination to fight against MAGA radicalism. It was inspirational to watch, but I'm glad to report that he is not the only inspiration in the party right now.
I am not defending the man. I'm defending the rights of this man to due process. And the Trump administration has admitted in court that he was wrongfully detained and wrongfully deported. My mission and my purpose is to make sure that we uphold the rule of law, because if we take it away from him, we do jeopardize it for everybody else. And I do want to point out, Carl, yes, the Trump administration is trying to change the story. They're trying to detract attention. Here's where they should put their facts. They should put it before the court. They should put up or shut up in court. Because Judge Zinnes, who's the district court judge in this case, said, and I quote, they put no evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or to any other terrorist activity, unquote. She says that a couple times in her decision. So, Mr. President and Republicans and anybody involved with this, take your facts to court. Don't put everything out on social media. As to his wife is the one who is asking us all to bring him home so his rights can be respected.
And in fact, even if he is a gang member, that doesn't mean you don't have rights, due process rights.
Well, exactly. But again, the place to litigate that is in the courts, and they've not put the evidence before the judge in the case. So again, put up or shut up in court.
That was Chris Van Hollen explaining why he has been fighting so hard for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Now, he's been in the Senate since 2017, and in that time, he's been a model legislator. But he's no firebrand. He just keeps his head down. He does good work. And in today's America, that means that you'll never become a media darling by doing that. That is, unless you do something truly extraordinary. Now, I want you to recall Donald Trump's own DOJ admitting that Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador in a gulag there by mistake. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously 9-0 that the government must, quote unquote, facilitate his repatriation. And yet he is still sitting in an El Salvadorian prison. It's egregious. It's disgusting. And Van Hollen had enough. He flew down. He demanded to meet with Abrego Garcia. He demanded proof of life. He got it. And thank God he did. Not only can Abrego Garcia's wife now sleep ever so slightly easier knowing her husband is still alive, but Van Hollen on the merits, right on the morals, and he's right on the messaging. I want to repeat that. Van Hollen said right at the top of the clip, what he said at the top of the clip, I am not defending the man. I am defending the rights of this man to due process. Correct, 1,000% correct. That is the message that Democrats need to be running. Abrego Garcia may be no angel, but guess what? The Constitution isn't written only for angels. It's written for all of us. So well done, Senator Van Hollen. Now I want to move on to my final Democrat getting into good trouble. You all recognize the man in this photo, right? That is Congressman Al Green standing up literally to protest Donald Trump's lies and more lies during his fake State of the Union. It was the first real physical action, the first real physical challenge to Trump's authority in the first 100 days. And honestly, it moved me and a lot of folks. I say this all the time. Old people be knowing. Al Green be knowing. It took an elder statesman who had lived through so much injustice to wake the Democratic Party up, to shake it into the passionate state that it is becoming today. I salute Congressman Green. And of course, not everyone agrees with me. 10 House Democrats voted to censure Al Green for his protest. Why? Beats me. Did Republicans censure Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert for screaming at Joe Biden? I don't think so. But sadly, those 10 House Democrats are far from the only folks in the party who haven't practiced good politics over the last 100 days.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed, he's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie gonna be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is,
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
When you go to these college campuses, I love watching your TikTok, which is next level. And clearly, that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, I actually.
He's coming to a Turning Point event this summer, Tampa, Florida, Student Action Summit.
I actually am by the way, if
you should be concerned.
But actually, let me say, here is why I'm concerned, because you have expressed that I should be concerned as a Democrat, that we're getting clobbered.
Okay. Yes.
That you've figured something out.
It's not me. The president first deserves the credit.
But why? No, hold on. You were at this before Trump was Trump.
I know, but
he was a Democrat back in 2011 and 12.
The president deserves huge credit. And I just have to say that as an obligatory thing, because without him, our movement would be small. And you can appreciate that in politics. You have to appreciate the person who is the catalyst.
For you, that's what you sort of attached an identity with.
It was also just the catalyst. It was a cultural moment that just opened us up.
Gavin, my friend. When we said Democrats needed to start going on podcasts, needed to start engaging with the so-called manosphere, this is not what we meant. We don't want you to cozy up with the worst, most cynical voices on the far right like Charlie Kirk. And we want you to debate them, right? We want you to go on the broadcast, put yourself out there, introduce yourself to the young men of America, not become a diet Republican. Okay? Gavin, I know that you're trying and I appreciate the effort, but this ain't it. Speaking of folks getting in good trouble on podcasts, let's talk about our next Democrat. Chatting with, of all people, friend of the show, Jennifer Welch.
So what have you had it with?
I would say we have a series of topics that I think sometimes consume and other topics that don't actually get the attention that they should get. And we ended up fighting for the wrong things. We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100%.
Okay, the only room we were doing really well was the bathroom. And that's the smallest room in the house.
That is such bullshit. That is total bullshit. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative. And I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this. You know who talks about trans people more than anybody? MAGA. Kamala Harris talked about home ownership. She talked about kitchen table issues. Trump's over there droning on about Hannibal Lecter. Are you kidding me? This is where the Democrats lose, because we're playing the game with the rule book. They've ripped the rule book up and are cramming it down everybody's throat. And Democrats are upset because Joe Biden pardoned his son. We got to fucking fight. They're the gender-obsessed weirdos, not us. We're the ones who fight for Social Security. We fight for Medicare. And yeah, we're not going to bully trans people. We're not going to fucking do it. Fine.
To channel Gen Z, she gagged his ass. Jennifer put him in his place right and proper. And I love Jennifer Welch. She is on the money in that clip. Democrats, this really isn't that hard. Trump won the election by just 1%. There's no landslide, despite what MAGA would like you to believe or what they would like to believe themselves. Now is not the time to make major retreat on this issue. It's definitely not the time to throw trans people under the bus. Look, can Democrats be a little smarter about how to message on trans rights? Sure. But to abandon such a vulnerable portion of the population, do you do that? It's not just dumb, it's inhumane. As Jennifer made clear in that clip, Democrats can walk and chew gum at the same time. Democrats can focus on kitchen table issues while also working to protect marginalized people in this country. It's time to fight, not to cower. And that brings me to my final Democrat who sadly isn't quite meeting the moment. I'm sure you all remember this photo, and she will too forever. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, considered to be a top 2028 presidential contender, stepped in at big time this month. You see, Whitmer was visiting the White House with a bipartisan delegation of lawmakers to discuss a northern Michigan ice storm and her state's military assets. Following a meeting with Trump, Whitmer was brought into the Oval Office where she literally shielded her face from the cameras as the president took to the Resolute desk and signed multiple executive orders to sic the Department of Justice on his political enemies. Now, it was a trap. Trump laid a trap for her, but nonetheless, Whitmer is responsible for falling for it. I don't know if her 2028 prospects are over, but they're certainly bruised. And with that, you have my list. What do you think? Did I miss anyone? What other Democrats are either meeting the moment or utterly failing to do so? Let me know in the comments. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.